Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Good morning. Hope you guys are having I think this should be Friday, but whatever day it happens to be, have a fantastic one of those, whatever that is. The further adventures of our What's the Best series, moving on to Tier 7 after Tier 6. We learned a bunch at Tier 6. I know I did. I hope you guys learned a little bit as well. What did we learn? Well, let's see. Numbers can mean anything you want them to. Stats specifically, I guess. What else? Feelings are not facts. We know that. The definition, I think the biggest one I learned is, I kind of knew this, and it still applies obviously here as we go through this, but the definition of the best tank is personal for a lot of people. I'm trying to keep it a little more big picture as far as what's the best tank right now in this meta, as in what is the best performing tank, I guess would be one way to say it there, with some caveats, because there are a lot of little details in here that as we've run through, and we'll probably come up with some more as we go through here as well. So realize that I'm, in general, although I am crossing the streams, right? Hypocrisy, all that good stuff. I can't be, I'm just a human. I'm just an unfrozen caveman, former fighter pilot. I can only do the best I can do. But I'm going to try to keep it big picture, while at the same time we are going to discuss some of the individual, or what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the things, some of the small factors that may change things, I guess. There's a better word for that. CRS coming through once again. But as always, let me know down in the comments what you think and what your favorite tank is and the reasons and why you think my logic might be flawed, which is all fantastic, because more than likely it is. All right. Best tanks individual. Stats can be construed to mean nearly anything. Those are some of the big things we've learned. And then a lot of the little details. Things like, the sample size for the tank. Who plays the tank? A lot of this stuff we know the sample size, but for example, this week we're going to have a tank that's at the top. That has a very low sample size and is probably, likely played by quite good players in relation to the other tanks, meaning that it skews high in skill. Although I don't have any numbers to prove that, so danger, right? But I think most people, again, we're treading into dangerous territory. Guido thinks most people would agree, which is no way to do facts and science. But whatever, we're going to do it anyway. Nothing ever stopped me from speculating on my own channel, all right? You can see it floating around behind me over here. Obviously, this is the one. So let's just get into it. I enjoyed this with Tier 6. Let's see where we go with Tier 7. We're going to start with the heavies. There are 21 of them. And we are again here on tomato.gg looking at the last 60 days. Just right off the bat, one caveat on these numbers is these are numbers from tomato.gg. Are they all the numbers? I don't know. I have no idea. My assumption is that it's pulled from the API, and it's a good enough sample size and good enough data for us to make these assumptions. Can I prove that? No, I've done zero calculations on that. Told you, this is just pure speculation off of a lot of numbers that make it look like maybe, sort of, kind of, it might have some facts behind it. All right? Have we beat that dead horse? I think we understand where we're all coming from here. The tank that clearly looks like it is the number one. We're just going to cut to the chase, because then I'm going to cut that tank off and we'll talk. I'm going to cut it off at the knees. Skoda T45, my friends. Look at this thing. And it is such an unbelievable outlier. Now, when you do see things like that in stats, those should raise flags, right? There's going to be probably a reason for them if, in theory, everything else is equal, although it's clearly not in terms of this game. But these are all Tier 7 heavy tanks. In theory, they should be pretty close in terms of if the game is balanced. I just heard you all laughing. I got it. But Wargaming does attempt to balance things. But it's a clear outlier, obviously. I think that it's nuts, right? Win 8, here's another thing I learned. Win 8, obviously, and I knew this, but it's important to discuss it here. Win 8 is by individual tank, and while you bring them all together in aggregate, you can get some information about skill levels and how good a tank is and whatnot. It's not the be-all everything. if you were to pin me down in the be-all everything stat, I think win rate is it. But if we go to win rate, it is ridiculously an outlier. I mean, we're talking almost 1,000 win 8, so call it 800 math in public-ish. And then in win rate, it's 11% more, pretty much. That should raise some flags there. Now look at battles, 1,115. This is the tank I was talking about then, that the way you got it is through, I believe, the ranked. I want to say it was the ranked bond shop. Is that correct? I believe so. And it's kind of an outlier tank, and you would not really get that before you got a lot of other very good tanks. So more than likely, only a lot of the very high energy, high battle count, high game use players are going to have all the other tanks and then want to get the T45. So I think this tank really skews very high in skill rate. That's what I'm trying to say there. Look at the DPG, 400 more. Everything's #1 here. You're going to find it, although I don't know if it is on spots. It might be. Let's find out. Does it drop in? No, it's even. I don't know. Somehow it's also #1 in spots. I just can't even. Even the spots metric is an outlier at 0.23 more than the next tank. So let's take Mr. Skoda T45. All right, folks. Let's take Mr. Skoda T45 and just together collectively admit that yes, it's probably a pretty darn good tank at tier 7. I suppose some of you would argue with me about whether it's the best, and maybe argue that it's only the best because it's played by maybe not the best players, but skewing high in skill. I would generally agree with that, but I would also say it's pretty good. I also, personal opinion time, happen to like it quite a bit. It's pretty good. But we're just gonna get rid of that tank. We're gonna cut it off at the knees. We're not gonna call it we're gonna call it #1, so we're gonna have a battle for #2. That's really what I want to do here. And I'm looking for in my garage, where's the one I really wanted to. What? Oh, there he is. All right. Mr. King Tiger. All right, so we'll drop Chrome here for a second. Here it is, Mr. King Tiger. And a surprise entrant, the IS-2, which has multiple variants. There is an IS-2. There is a IS-2 shielded. There is a IS-2M, IS-2 premium IS-2, an IS-2M, and an IS-2 Tech Tree IS-2 Chinese IS-2. There's a lot of IS-2s, my friends. But the premium one, I think, and the King Tiger, which is right where has he gone, Mr. King Tiger, here, I think are vying for #2. All right, so let's have a little discussion about #2. Back to win 8. Now you'll note that the King Tiger is second, with the IS-2 close on its heels, both within 40 or 50, 40, I guess, of each other in win 8. But let's look at win rate. That's the one Guido likes the most, and they are both very close at 51.45, 51.37 on the IS-2. Notice that also the IS-2S and the IS-2M are all lurking around the top as well. But interestingly, the Chinese IS-2 version, the Tech Tree one, is down lower. And look at the poor IS, which is very similar as well, down at the bottom. Now, there are some benefits to these other tanks. They are also premiums, worth a discussion now. The IS, look how many battles that thing. I think it's #1. #2 after the tie. Oh, it's not even close. It's #4. Wow, I didn't realize that. Still, 121,000 battles, whereas the rest of these are sitting at 18 and 30 and whatnot. And there is another discussion here then about premium tanks and maybe slightly better players playing them. Certainly, players don't have to play stock premium tanks, which is what you have to do with the IS. All right, so noted. That's absolutely in there. But we're generally going after. If I wanted to sit down and play the best tier 7 tank that's performing the best, what would I do? What would I play? Skoda T45. All right, kick it back out. Get it out of the room. Get out of here, Skoda T45. We don't want to look at you. King Tiger, so win rate. Go to DPG, King Tiger. All right, still close. I mean, this is only 10 away, 14 points or so between the two. And the other IS-2S is kind of creeping around. Note that a solid performance by a Tech Tree tank. Let's just go back to win 8. T29. T29 down here. The VZ climbs a little higher in terms of win rate. DPG, it's lurking around ahead of some of the other premiums there. So nice job, T29. And I'm betting you there's some people sitting there right now going, that's the best Tier 7 heavy tank, Guido. Could be. Could be. But let's look at performance. Frags. All right. This is where it gets a little bit interesting to me. The King Tiger drops down, and I was thinking about that. Frags. Now, 0.77 and 0.82 are not too far off. I was trying to think of things that might cause the King Tiger C to have less frags. Frags, everything goes into it, right? Putting yourself in the right position, taking good shots, everything else. But one thing that the IS series have, and notice all three of them jumped up. I thought that was quite interesting. One of them that they have over the King Tiger C and the T29 is alpha. What that means is a wider range of low hit point tanks are in the range of being closed out and being killed or fragged in a game. I know it's not just that. You've got to hit them. Dispersion matters. Rate of fire matters. DPG or DPM matters. All that good stuff. I suppose it to some extent DPG matters. And it's a small difference, but I think maybe one of the kind of critical factors in just inching these three above the King Tiger and maybe the T29 is that they just have a bigger boom and can close out a wider range of low hit point tanks. I just throw that out for thought. Let me know what you think. Could be completely wrong. Damage ratio, the King Tiger drops down to 5. This one, and I mentioned it because I kind of realized it at Tier 6 when we were talking about it and we came upon the TOG and I had a thought about it. But I would say that even within smaller differences in hit points, the King Tiger has some pretty good hit points. Let's take a look at this over here. And I've got the King Tiger called up. It is sitting at 1,340 hit points, although there may be some field modification things going on there because 40 is an odd number unless you're doing some kind of extra hit point thing going on. Then we look at the IS2, if I can find it somehow in here. Why is it so hard to find these things today? There he is. It is sitting at 1,280. Now that's not a huge difference, but it's a little difference. And when you're talking about a fairly small damage ratio difference of 0.85 to 0.86, a few extra hit points is probably going to affect that to some extent. All right, so the IS-2 has dropped down. The IS-2S makes a sneaky appearance into the number 2 spot right there. Kill to deaths, really high on Skoda, as we noted. 1.11 for 3 of them. King Tiger down at 1.06. And then survival. Interestingly, the VZ actually has some pretty good armor overall. I found it to be very interesting how well that thing bounced. How well that thing bounced shots. Very, very interesting on that. So he sneaks up into 2. T29 with that great turret. They tend to do well in hold down situations and have some good options with the turret. And then the King Tiger C. And then the ISs, in terms of survival, they start to drop off pretty heavily right here. Their armor isn't that great. They're not that fast, so their survival drops down. But again, these numbers are not that different. The difference between 28% and we go all the way down to find our IS-2 down here that we've been talking about, it's 3% lower kind of thing. So let's just go back to this, take a look at it, and we'll make a call, all right? We've got a King Tiger C at number 2 on win rate. Problematic. I like win rate, so right off the bat, that puts King Tiger C, man, in the lead for me. But it's not that big of a difference. 0.08. That's just not a whole bunch. DPG, but again, we're trying to find that one tank, right? We got to hang our hat on something. DPG, great. That's how you affect battles. Fantastic. Doesn't have a lot to do with your hit points in terms of just pure DPG, although staying in the game matters, and then you might get another shot because you had more hit points and better armor. Yada, yada. Frags drops down. This is where it got tricky for me because if we look at win rate, number 3 was IS-2. DPG, number 3 was IS-2. When we go to frags, number 3 is IS-2, and King Tiger drops down pretty significantly, actually. We go to damage ratio, King Tiger drops down, but IS-2S and IS-2 stay up there, all right? And then kill to death, we get King Tiger dropping down, and survival, the IS-2 drops out of us. Number 4 and 5, number 4 and 5, 3 and 5, and then the DPG and the win rate. Man, this is a tough one, I'm going to tell you. And as I was looking at this, it doesn't seem to be really a clear winner except for if you hang your hat on the win rate. And I'm going to inject a slight amount of both a privilege because it's my channel and personal opinion in here. Why not? Let's do that. And I'm going to call it for the King Tiger C with a close second to the IS-2. I find the King Tiger C's gun to be more comfortable. And the IS-2, while it's a pretty darn good tank, I think that the gun control you. And frankly, if I was to take the top 2 that I like, or let's call it the top 3, because I am going to put the Skoda T45 at number 1 here. But runner-up, best runner-up, which is what we were looking at here by discarding the Skoda T45. Best runner-up was King Tiger C with a close, in Guido's opinion, IS-2M. I actually like the M better, to be honest. But we're going to call it for King Tiger C and then the IS-2 with a close second right there. Let me know what you guys think. I was a bit surprised to see the VZ44 do as well as it did. Kind of hanging out there, DPG, where is it? It's hanging out in the top 10, frags, top 10, damage ratio, drops down a little bit lower, kill to death. Survival, it's right up there. So for tech tree tanks, the T29 and the VZ44 are really doing some great work in here in terms of hanging out around the top. I will say a sleeper, just to chuck it out, another tank at tier 7 I quite like in the tech tree is the 45 TP, although it's pretty far down there overall. It sneaks up into the top 10 a couple times. Here it is right here. And let's see, where's it going? Win rate. Drops down a bit in win rate to 49.27. So there you go, fellas. Let me know what you think. I'm calling it tier 7. Best tier 7 heavy tank that's not a Skoda T45. For me, it's the King Tiger Captured with a close second, the premium version, Russian premium version of the IS-2. Right there. That's all I've got, guys. Actually, that's not all I've got. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the King Tiger and we're going to go play a game. Good, bad, or ugly, you're going to see what happens. It's going to be the game that I play, whatever it is. So if I die first, it'll be a short video. Let me know what you think down below. What do you think, first of all, what's your favorite? And what do you think is actually the best? And I'm talking the last 60 days. Because I didn't even discuss that at the beginning. We could break this down into longer periods and whatnot. Historical information, all that good stuff. But let's just stick with what do you think in the current meta is the best tier 7 heavy tank, and what's your favorite? And are they the same? All right, let's go to the gameplay for the King Tiger Captured. Okay, loading in. Here we go. Top tier. Wow. Well, you guys got lucky. I got lucky. Someone got lucky. Potentially, anyway. Let's see if it matters or not. I'm going to leave that actually right there. So we're on counter. The dog's going to be barking because this is actually just a live recording. And apparently the neighbor's pool person is here, so needs to be barked at. We are running a Vents, a rammer, and an IRM. I don't know. Probably improved aiming might be a better thing to get. Although this thing is a little sluggish, so I feel like the IRM helps it with turning the hole in the turret and all that good stuff. So we're going to just back down here. We're going to go into town. There are 3 artillery to deal with. I'm carrying 54 regular rounds, 12 APCR. I've got 4 HE and 2 large kits and an automatic fire extinguisher. So that is the setup. Top tier is really nice. Only a Tiger, really, in terms of heavy tanks to deal with. Although those can be pretty dang good tanks. The Tiger actually fared fairly well in the numbers. I didn't specifically talk about it, but I quite enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better before they nerfed the reload speed and gave it a little more alpha. I actually enjoyed the 240 alpha, and I think, what is it, 280 right now? This thing I think is sitting at 280. Nope, 240. Interesting that this is now less than a Tiger. Is that right? Did it go 240 to 280, or did it actually go from 220 to 240 or something? I don't remember. Anyway, they nerfed they increased the alpha and they nerfed the firing rate. And it fires quickly now, but it was a machine gun before. Let's go down here and see if we can find some guys to thump. There's the Tiger. Yeah, see, I'm not really where I want to be now. Is he going to come at us? This guy's coming out. Put a thump on him. Should be able to hurt him pretty good. There we go. 2244 just got in there and did some, oof. Apparently the Arty has a shot on this corner. Okay, city's doing okay. Let's sit on this and see what happens. We have a 122.44 up there, guarding it. We try to force them to come at us. I'm just not able to cross with all those guns and the artillery. Oh, something just broke right there. So is there somebody there? I'm really trying to cap. I'm just trying to see if one of them gets nervous and comes at me. That's a decent enough spot to hole up. So yeah, and I'm going to get arty. So let's back out of this. Oh, there's a Panther coming. Okay. Oh, there's somebody behind me. That is not good. How on earth did that happen? Okay, I'm a little bit fuzzy. I was obviously not paying attention to the mini-map, or I don't know what, but that was wild. Where did he just drove up along the side? We had nobody in the middle. That's what happened. Nobody in the middle watching. He just drove right. That was incredible. Showed up right at my 6 o'clock. That's amazing. But what hurts about that is he took 600 hit points from me. Sheesh. Is he going to come up? Yep. Tiger's right there. That sucked, and he's going to out-reload me, unfortunately. Let's shoot and go. Oh. Here we go. Don't let him get that shot. There you go. You missed, buddy. Fast enough? You're not. You're not fast enough. You are not fast enough, my friend. I don't know where that P43 is, and I'm a one-shot, so I really don't want to die. But I do want some more damage, so whatever. Let's go take a look. Oh, he's moved over there. Alright, very nice. M12, P43, there's a super and an Achilles. There's the Achilles. Super mace. No, okay, Stir's moving there, so he's probably not right there. Very good. Not an amazing game, but we... Oh, Super Hellcat. Saw he? Yeah, he did. I do want to not get artied. Oh, there goes the dog. You're getting the whole... Getting the whole shebang today, my friends. Yeah, I'm not going to get those hit points. Maybe. Is he going to do it? No. Nope, nothing. Alright. There you go. Dog barking and everything. She's been quiet all morning, man. Not a peep. And now as soon as I hit record, she's like, ah! Alright, there you go. There you go, King Tiger. Let's head back out and see how we did. The surprise Sioux 600 something hit point rear shot was that hurt my options for sure. Wasn't able to bully once I lost that many hit points. Then the Tiger sort of owned me a little bit, but we did all right. We did 1,623. Made some cash, which is nice. Although a good chunk, well, 50 of the 94, so we made some good cash. Was a mission of some kind. And there you go. My stats, just really quickly, just sitting at 50%. 101 battles, 50%. Pretty good average XP at over 1,000. Anytime I'm doing that, that's nice. We're sitting at 75%. We've got 38% survive, 75% hits, 1.45 damage, destruction 2.58. Armor use pretty good. When you get to 0.5, you're doing all right. It's not super heavy realm when you get up to 1.0 or so in that region, but that is usable armor. usable situational armor right there at 0.55. 1,638 damage caused enemy vehicle. Oh, did I just get my exact average, or was it that close? 1,638, and we just got. What did we actually just get? Oh, almost 1,623, just a little bit under. All right, there you go. That is it for today. I'm calling it for the King Tiger. Runner-up IS2. That's what I've got today. We will see ya.